Hello everybody, Z3KO Trinity here. And today is book versus movie on Pet Sematary. Now I know what you're thinking, but Jacob, you've already done a book review on Pet Sematary. What would be the difference? Well, I just wanted to clarify the differences and clarify which one I think outbeats the other. Now, both of them is actually written by Stephen King. Stephen King wrote the screenplay for the movie, and of course, he naturally wrote the book. This story is based off of events that actually happened to Stephen King. He had actually moved into a house, just like the house in the story and in the movie. He has a roadway that was always busy with trucks flying by. He had his cat killed on the road, had to explain to his daughter what death was and all that kind of stuff, kind of introduce his kids to the whole death factor. So yeah, a lot of the stuff, and also his neighbor had taken him to a pet cemetery to bury the cat. So a lot of this story actually came and was real to Stephen King. Well, all except for, bringing the cats and the dead back to life. That was all Stephen King. But there is not many differences between the movie and the book. There is a couple, and one majorly that I wished was in the movie. But one of the main differences is Judd Crandall's wife. She was not mentioned in the movie whatsoever. He just said that I don't even think she was mentioned. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure she wasn't even mentioned. It's been a while since I've watched it. But I loved her character in the book. I loved her character so much, and I think she had a major role in the story. And I like how she died in the story of, like, old age, like, natural causes. Like, she's the only one that kind of showed like, the beauty of it behind death. Because the kid, gets run over by the truck. And, just so much horrific stuff happens with death in the story that I think her character introducing the fact of a peaceful, natural death is kind of nice. It kind of shows like a good side to death in a way. But that's one of the main differences. There's actually a lot more that is explained in the whole Indian burial ground in the book compared to the movie. Like there's even a fact that there's a Wendigo whose spirit inhabits these people and the dead and so on and so forth. That's what makes them so evil. And also, when the dead come back to life, like let's take his child for instance. When the child comes back to life, he doesn't like go goo goo gaga like little kid talk. He actually says some really mean, really messed up stuff. And it's like the dead knows you. Because he's talking to Judd and he's like telling him, oh, your wife was a whore. She cheated on you and like all kinds of like really messed up stuff. Which adds a lot more horror element to the story instead of just simply coming back. Like in the movie, they came back from the dead, but you could tell that they were off, especially Human, when he buried the son and the son came back. But in the book, it's so much worse. And plus the explanation of when Judd Crandall told him about his friend that they had buried and came back to life. Like in the book, he said a few like nonchalant words and was kind of like, and then in the book, he too was saying some really dark, messed up stuff about the people. Like, the dead know him. Like, it's as if the dead can see the living and know all their evil stuff to tell. But all in all, the story is perfect. I love the story regardless. I love the movie. Love the actor that played Judd Crandall. I thought the kid was really interesting. For it being a child actor, I thought they did a really good job picking his part. Another major difference is when the kid, I don't really want to spoil it, but I'm going to have to because it's a difference. So if you don't want this spoiled, skip 20 seconds into the video, please. But when the kid bites the big one at the end of the movie, he gets injected in the neck with the serum, and the kid goes, "Not fair, not fair." And I don't think he says that in the book, because that was the actual, kid actor himself putting that in there. And they just left it in the movie because they thought it was such an impactful moment. You're getting rid of your kid, you know what I mean? For like the second time. So it's a very, very emotional moment in the movie. Just that simple, it's not fair. But otherwise, that's about all the differences. I do know the woman kills herself and hangs herself in the movie, and it was quite different from the book. And her character in general was a little different in the book compared to what she was in the movie. I can't quite remember what her name was. I know I'm very bad at this, so if you give me a thumbs down, I fully understand. But yeah, out of book versus movie, and this is a tough one. Honest to God, this is a tough one, and it only comes down to one factor for me. The simple factor is I pick the book just because of Ned Crandall's or Judd Crandall's wife. Like, I absolutely loved her character in the book, and I wish that they would have had her character in the movie. Because it actually explains a lot more about the pet cemetery and the whole, is it Micmac? Yeah, I believe it's Micmac. The whole Micmac burial ground, the old McDonald burial ground. I feel like her character had explained it better and had a big impact on him explaining what that burial ground was compared to in the movie. In the movie, when his cat had died, and he was like, "Oh, by the way, there's a cemetery above this cemetery that brings animals and things back from the dead. But don't do it, okay? It's a no-no." Like, why would he explain the whole story behind that whole burial ground if he didn't want him to even go there to begin with? And you can see my comic book in the background. But yeah, I just think that the book makes a lot more sense, and I like his wife in the book. She's like one of the best characters ever. Her and him are the greatest characters I think Stephen King had come up with. The actor, rest in peace, did an excellent job in this movie. The other actors seemed kind of plain, especially in the dialogue, I thought. They were just really, really weird. But the best part about the movie is visually seeing Zelda. That is like the greatest, most horrific part about this entire movie is when his sister, she enters the room, sisters turn away, and he like turns, and it's actually a dude playing a woman part, which made it so much creepier. But when they turned around, and you just saw that face, and he came like running right up to her, that freaked me out so freaking bad. So I love this movie. Just because I picked the book doesn't mean I go, nah, I might as well throw this in the trash. No, the movie was perfect. The book was perfect. It's just I prefer this book compared to the movie. And that is my book versus movie. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you give me a like. I hope you can go and subscribe some more if you have not subscribed. If you have subscribed, unsubscribe and subscribe again. God. But anyway, thank you guys so much for enjoying the video. If you didn't, I'm sorry. I tried. I tried. But yeah, I'm going to end it with this creepy ass cat right here. That's right. Look at him. But thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Come on, kitty cat.